You keep seeing repeating numbers and signs. The universe is confirming your path. I get this question all the time in my MIA Academy, my Manifestation, Intuition, and Astrology Academy for spiritually curious women. And it is this like, I keep seeing these numbers, or I keep seeing these signs, I keep seeing birds and feathers. And what does it mean? And I said, you're on the right path. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, Sheetal Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Sheetal Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Today we are going to be talking about 8 ways to know you are on the right path, even when it doesn't feel uncertain. And I just want to preface that uncertainty is really a function of the mind, right? When we don't have an answer, when we are sitting in contemplation, when maybe the right path forward does not seem clear to you, your soul is very patient, right? The universe is like, hold on, I got you. And the mind is like, oh my God, we are dying, right? There is no certainty in life, but our mind likes to think that we have certainty. And so I wanted to create this list for you today so that you can see when you maybe don't have a very clear path forward, that you are still on the path. You know, you are always on the path. I've received a lot of DMs lately from old clients or clients that are thinking about working with me that they're talking about going through a lot of grief and transitions. And it's in these transition points when we are moving from what was to what isn't quite clear yet is where we fit into this category of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen, or maybe we're contemplating a major decision in life and we're not sure whether we should do it. And so we can ask for signs and symbols from spirit. We can ask for some certainty to come in, maybe in the form of money, maybe in the form of people coming in to support us and help us. And if we don't get those signs and symbols, then it's a sign not to move forward. And that's okay, right? What's meant for us will never pass us by. So certainty will come, clarity will come. If this is your path, it's what's meant for you, then it'll be very, very clear. So when you feel like you're walking around unsure, are you making the right moves? The universe is going to leave clues, and I'm going to talk about what those clues are today. So one of the clues is opportunities appear unexpectedly and doors open effortlessly. And an example of that is this podcast. Like, it is wild to me how, things transpired. And even from this podcast, there are things that are transpiring for the next level of evolution. And it is shocking to me because I'm just walking the path. I just said yes. And how this all came about, if you haven't watched or listened to the first podcast in the Story of Spirit podcast, is that I was in a meditation in an entrepreneur group, big group. There was like 1,100 of us there. And we met our future self in this meditation. And my future self came forward and said, "You're going to start a podcast." And I was like, "No, I'm not." I don't believe you. If this is meant for me, then show me without a shadow of a doubt. I don't have time to edit. I don't have time to put up, things on my social media and create clips and all the things that come along with it. You think a podcast is super easy to create, and it is not. It is not, because there's lots that goes into it. The editing, the uploading, the scheduling, the marketing behind it. It's not just create it and they will come. It's you actually have to create sort of a marketing engine that lets your ideal people know where to find you. SEO counts too, search words, search engine optimization. So using words in the title, words in the scripts itself to let people know that you're here. So it's not easy. And I have enough on my plate. I'm serving my clients. I love grief counseling. I love business coaching. I'm doing readings. I have a family. I'm teaching classes at night. I got enough on the go. I really don't need another thing on my plate. And the universe, my future self said, I will send you the people. You just have to say yes. I will send you the people. You just have to say yes. And I'm like, all right. And I remember leaving that ballroom from that conference going, whatever, that's never going to happen. Nice trick, future self me. And then the next week, a client messaged me saying I need a reading urgently. Some things have shifted in my life. And then it came out in that reading that she's a podcast manager, podcast coach. And I was like, I think I need to work with you. Well, let's see. When you get settled and stuff, give me a call. And she's like, I can't stop thinking about you. I know I need to work with you. And I'm like, okay, take it easy. And it just worked out. So she was amazing. I've referred her to so many people to start their podcast. And all the people came in. It turns out that my VA, my virtual assistant, edits podcasts. I didn't know that. And then I had someone else flow in to my life who was a godsend who said, let me do your show notes for you. And I was like, thank you so much that I get to record these now and then they go out to the world. It has been so effortless, seriously, so effortless. I get to do the part that I love the most, which is speaking. So this is wild turn of events. So things like this, just opportunities just present themselves and you're like, oh, okay. Payments just flow in. All of a sudden the right person appears and you're like, oh, I think I need to work with you. And they're like, I have space in my calendar. Let's go. So it feels effortless, even though you're thinking about things. But once you start to take the next step, opportunities just start to open up for you. Number 2 is you feel a deep sense of peace. Even in the unknown, there's an inner knowing that you're in the right place. Now, here, this can get murky, number 2, for you, because if you're not in your spirit, if you are not doing intuition development or meditation work, where you are really sitting in the seat of the soul and the brain is so loud, the mind is so loud that it can feel like uncertainty is taking hold. And when you drop into the soul, when you drop into the observer of the thoughts, do you feel a sense of calm? And that's actually where I feel like I am right now. I know life is shifting, something really big is around the corner, and I'm not in a rush to find that out. This year of no for me has been groundbreaking. There's so much happening around me. There's events and my soul sisters are going to things. And I always check in with myself. Do I feel sad that I'm not there? And the answer always is no way. No way. I am so happy just being in my own little bubble. And there's things that come along and I was like, yes, that's a yes. One of my good friends just messaged me and she's doing a big party for solstice. And I was like, this feels like a yes to me. I will say yes, I will come to this. And she's like, oh my gosh, like it feels like the yeses in my year of no are so sacred. I'm willing to just sit in the peace of not being at everything and being okay. And then even noticing if I have FOMO. Because if I have FOMO now sitting in the seat of my soul, then I have missed the opportunity that was supposed to be a yes. So that would be the opportunity. But if I'm getting FOMO from my brain, then that means I got to be everywhere. I got to be in connection with everybody. There's so much tied up with that is actually not truth for me. So sitting back now and just being the witness and knowing that everything is going to be fine and what's meant for me will call to me very loudly. So number 3 is challenges feel like lessons, not punishment. So things that happen now, even if there's my accountant sent me a bill and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was exactly around where I thought it was going to be for all of my taxes. And she's amazing. I feel so blessed to have someone guarding my money that is so brilliant. And my accountant and the bookkeeper, my bookkeeper, funny story, I graduated with her from high school, and she was like one of the top 10 students in the school, like super brilliant, wonderful soul. I just love her so much. Shout out to Jessica. And she's working with my accountant. So when I found my accountant, it was a perfect fit. I love her so much. She's become a dear friend. And then when I found out that Jessica was her bookkeeper, I was like, abundance. Like, this felt so right. And so every time I have to deal with the CRA, which is the Canadian Revenue Agency, for those of you in the US, the IRA is the equivalent. It's awful. They make you wait on hold, and you're dealing with these people, and you get a different answer every time. And I mean, I don't know. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor. Like, my gifts are not talking to the CRA and understanding tax law. And so I have these beautiful people in my life that do that for me. And when I found out last year that I wasn't paying my personal taxes, I didn't realize I had to pay them ahead of time. We've always just paid them on time, and I have to now pay them ahead of time. And I got the email while I was in London, and London already was a stretch. I was doing it fine, and then I got the email that you hadn't paid your personal taxes, and it's about $8,700, and I was like, crap, here it is again. This life lesson of money. Every time money comes in, it flows out, and it can't ever just stay in my pocket. It always has to go to something. And I said, wait a second, this is actually a lovely opportunity. It's not a punishment. This is not old lifestyle, old stories. This is a new story. And the new story is, it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. I'm just going to pay it down as much as possible before we go into tax season. And if I owe and there's a fine on it, fine, I'll pay the fine. It's all going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. Money's coming in. This is not a doomsday sentence. I'm not going to jail. And in that, just having that calm, like, I literally had about 15 minutes where I was sitting on the bed in my room in London, taking deep breaths and going, wait a second, what's another story I could tell myself here? That was life changing, because it's in that moment that I reframed the story into, this just happens. Bills come in, money comes in, money goes out. I have abundance that flows in and out of my life, and it all works out. And guess what? We took tax time, and because of the way everything worked out, I only had to pay an extra $1,000. Wild. And my accountant was a huge part of that we deferred some money to next year and made it all work out. So it's still there, but I didn't have to pay as much. And now that I know that I owe more next year, I can put that aside, and I'm going to be paying personal taxes this year to avoid anything at all next year. If anything, they're going to pay me back money, because I'm going to either overpay or they're going to just owe me money, right? Why not? I get to change the sentence. I get to change the story. So challenges feel like lessons, not punishment. And that was an opportunity for a lesson. Growth in every struggle. Number 4, people and resources just show up at the right time. And I think I just talked about that with Callie, my podcast coach. She just happened to be coming into even though I was hugely resistant to the podcast. She was like, I think I need to be your podcast coach. I'm like, yeah. Okay, you know what? Send me your proposal. It's going to be thousands of dollars. And she's like, no, we can work out a trade and it's all going to work out. And I was like, oh my God, how can I not work with her at that moment in time? It was so perfectly aligned. Same thing with Deb, my accountant, as she flew into my life. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm incorporating this year. I need a corporate accountant. And she just was in at the right moment. Like, I'm serious when I say what's meant for you will find you. You really will not have to worry that you are on the right track, that the right things are going to be supported. Where we fall off track with that is when we try to force something too early, when we're trying to make something happen when it's not the time for it. And that's the timing of things, I think, is why people come to see me for psychology, for psychic work, sorry, not psychology, psychic work and astrology, because we can really see timing of things in astrology as well as intuitively. But of course, you also have free will and timing, right? Timing is not something that I can say, oh, yeah, next year, this time you're going to do this. I can say, like, I feel like in the next 2 years, this is going to happen, or I feel like this is going to happen next 3 months, or I feel like this is imminent. I can feel that coming in your trajectory, but ultimately you have free will to make things happen for you, right? I can't do that for you, and nor do I want to. Right? I have enough karma. I don't need to take part of your karmic lessons. And for those of you who don't understand what karma is life lessons learned. So if you didn't learn the lesson, it'll come back around in terms of karma. So if you're mean to somebody, then they're now affected by that. There will be something in your life that will understand what that felt like. Ultimately, we all go through a life review after we take our last breath, and we feel it through the other person's eyes. That's very profound. We feel it through the other person's eyes. So if you made somebody cry, in elementary school, and you learn now, you go back and you go, okay, I see why I did that. I did, that was not nice of me. You might go through a life review where you'll go back and feel what it felt like for them. And you'll also have the understanding of why you did that, of what that repercussion was there. And you might have some karma, some life lessons that you will now kind of be learning on the other side of that, maybe in your next life, right? So it's not a bad thing. It's not a hammer trying to, come down on you, or you're gonna get yours. Nothing like that. It's really about, did you learn the lesson in that? And if you did learn the lesson, let's say you were mean to somebody, and then now your child was bullied. Now you get to understand what that feels like, now to see your child or be helpless in that. There could be sort of that atonement in this lifetime where you understand that now deeply, and you can send love and healing to anyone you bullied in your childhood. So, true story. I grew up in a dog eat dog world. Our elementary school, either you were the bully or you were bullied. And I was on both sides of that. So there's been lots of, sending love and healing to, I don't know where they might be at this moment in time, but it's a really huge understanding now to know why. There was a girl who sat in front of me in grade 3, and she had long, long blonde hair. And she would always put her hair on my desk. We were sitting rows, and we were those old school wooden desks with the metal chairs. And she would always like lift her hair and put it on my desk. And I would say, can you please take it off? And she would continue to do it. I don't know why. And I was also a little, I'm going to be super honest, jealous of girls that had blonde hair and blue eyes, and she did. But she was not, she was very nerdy. People bullied her all the time. People like made fun of her and stuff all the time. And I remember I drew on her hair a couple times. And then I also would pull my desk back and pull it forward and then get her hair stuck between the desks. So it was retaliatory. You know what? It's so not right. It was awful. And then you want to hear what happened afterwards, which is even more awful, is the next year she got cancer and her hair all fell out. And she came to school with a bandana, and she would try to come to school some more. But as kids, we didn't understand cancer. No one told us anything about the cancer. We didn't really have a great teacher that year. So we all thought that she was contagious, and nobody would play with her. No one would talk to her. No one would go near her. And the next year, she wasn't in our class anymore, and nobody talked about her. And I think about her a lot. I don't feel her in spirit. I hope she was able to manage whatever that is. I've tried to look for her. I don't even remember her last name. But there's a lot of remorse in my heart for that, and understanding why I did that as a little girl. And now, would I ever do that? No way. No way. I am not the same person I was when I was 8. Let's be honest. And I can understand why I did that. I just sent her so much love, and I hope that she can hold space for people to change, because I did change. I'm not the same person that I am. And I feel like I'm telling this story because I know we're talking about something completely different, but I think someone listening on here has had a bully in the past, and can you hold space that the bully has shifted, has changed, has grown, has healed, has maybe sending you love, and maybe they haven't. And if you were the bully, I want to send you so much love, because I understand what that feels like. And again, hurt kids, right? So there's a part of you that was trying to play the hierarchy in there as well. So I know that's like so not off so off topic, but I think it's a message that someone needs to hear. All right, coming back to the 8 ways that you know you're on track for your right path. You are excited for the future, even though it's not 100% clear. I've been hearing from so many people, I know something's changing. I know something big is coming. I know something better is on the way. Even just that knowing, that feeling, or maybe sometimes you feel like you're lying to yourself about that, that's okay. Because I 100% know something better is coming for you. If you're still breathing, you're still on this planet, there's something more coming. And the universe doesn't just try to push you down into the dirt, it is trying to help you grow and heal. So something better is coming. Know that in your heart. And if you don't know it, borrow my belief so that when it comes, you'll be like, Sheetal, I borrowed your belief and it did get better. Thank you so much. Number 6, you keep seeing repeating numbers and signs. The universe is confirming your path. I get this question all the time in my MIA Academy, my Manifestation, Intuition, and Astrology Academy for spiritually curious women. And it is this like, I keep seeing these numbers, or I keep seeing these signs, I keep seeing birds and feathers. And what does it mean? And I said, you're on the right path. And like, no, it has to be more. So, well, you can Google the spiritual meaning of 555 and see what happens. Or ChatGPT is fabulous for helping you uncover the meanings of things, or you can just know that you're on the right track. If you overanalyze it, then the brain now takes hold of something that's really meant to be just an affirmation for your soul to keep going, and you're doing a great job. And the mind wants to make it something maybe way more than it is. And sometimes it is. You can look at all the numbers and see what they mean. Numerology is real, it talks about the vibration of numbers. So you can look into that and find out that for yourself. Number 7, your intuition is getting stronger, more clarity and less doubts. Trusting in your intuition, trusting in your spirit, trusting in the universe, having faith that everything is going to work out. And that's why my Intuition 101 and MIA Academy is so potent, because trusting yourself above all else is the antidote to fear. It really is. You know that you're going to be fine no matter what happens to you. Trusting your intuition is going to lead you down the path that you're meant to. And if something is not happening in the right way, or something is a danger, you're going to know it before it happens. Trust it. And number 8, you are being pushed outside your comfort zone. Expansion is uncomfortable but necessary. There's an excitement to expansion. The first time that I stepped onto a major stage, or the first time that I launched a course, or the first time I published my Facebook page, I was scared, but I was excited. There's a part of my soul that was excited for what was to come and what this next period of evolution had for me. So trust that. Excitement and nervousness, or excitement and anxiousness, is actually the same chemical reaction inside your body. What changes it is the story that you tell it about itself, about what's happening. So when you think about an Olympic diver, diving off the high dive, they are nervous. They are absolutely nervous. There's nothing in their body that says, this is exciting, it's all going to work out. There's a nervousness. They're being judged. Everyone is watching. It could be televised around the world, but they have practiced and practiced and practiced. They have visualized it. They see it in their heart. They know they can do well, and they're going to go and they're going to be excited about whatever is going to come on the other side of it. That is telling your brain a story that when you get it done, how do you feel afterwards? It's exhilarating, right? It really is. You did something that was outside your comfort zone. Practice an exhilarating story versus a fear story. So, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be and the path is unfolding as you walk it. You can't sit there and think the path open. You must take the first step. So, any of these 8 ways, knowing that you are on the right path, let them guide you, let them give you certainty. And I'm going to just recap them. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Doors are opening effortlessly. You feel a deep sense of peace, even though you don't know what's on the other side. Challenges feel like lessons, not punishments. There's a growth in every struggle. People and resources show up for you at the right time. Alignment in action. Taking action, letting people come into your life, letting the next step show itself to you, just taking that next step. You are excited for the future, even though it's not 100% clear. You keep seeing repeating numbers and signs, and the universe is confirming your path. And then your intuition is getting stronger. There's more clarity, less doubts because you're trusting yourself deeply. And finally, you're being pushed outside your comfort zone. Expansion isn't comfortable, but necessary and super exciting. So go walk the path, take that action, take the next aligned step as it's shown to you. And if there's no step that's becoming aligned, becoming clear, no aligned step that's becoming clear for you, then it's not the right time to take a step and it's time to just take a hold for a moment. But you will know when the universe is pushing you outside your comfort zone. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.sheetalstory.com and follow us on Instagram at sheetalstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Sheetal Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legal ease that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Sheetal Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.